Hey guys, we are going to have to do a quick shave tonight. This is a Canadian Gillette Tech vintage. Great shaver. Inside of it, I'm going to put this Personna 74 Tungsten. And I am going to, don't have too many of these blades. And so this is my marathon. I'm going to take quite a ways, hopefully, and I think I've got 10 uses on it. I don't really remember, but maybe that's a ballpark. This is an Omega 20102. Kind of a big brush. It looks a lot bigger in person than it does in any of the photos that I ever saw. And then I'm reaching back to a box of soap that I bought middle of last year, and Kokomo from Mickey Lee Soapworks, and even back then it would have been kind of an older soap. Kind of got a beachy smell, maybe some suntan lotion, coconut, that sort of thing. So let us carefully treat this blade with respect. And there we go. Notice when I had it on my hand, I didn't curl my fingers. Kept them flat. That way when the handle finally catches and tightens, it'll spin and I don't get cut. I've had this brush soaking probably for an hour. I think it's had 8 uses on it. I'm looking forward to putting some more. And let's throw on some water. Yeah, about a day's worth of growth today for this shave. And this is hard water, and it's cold right now. I'm going to use the hot, so eventually it'll catch up and we'll bring it up to a warm temperature. But I definitely enjoy the cold water when it comes to calming down a little bit of irritation, that sort of thing. So it has been a while since this soap was used. You can see the spacing around the edges there, so it's shrunken. And my records seem to say that maybe a 40-second load gave me about 5 passes of lather the last time I used this soap base. So let's just go for that. All right, shake out most of the water. And then 40 seconds. We'll wait till the turn of the minute so we can go to 40. As you're loading, this is called loading for most of the wet shavers online and stuff. We regard to this as loading from the soap, or just loading. And then when you've got your bowl or you're on your face, that's when you're building the lather. So this isn't really building the lather per se. Oh, and we're almost to 40 seconds already. Just 2 more seconds. And there we go. Mickey Lee closed their doors, I think it was last year. And it was very unfortunate. Good folks there. At least one good person. I don't know if that was a team of people or if I think it was Sammy was the main person. And Roger Quintero lather bowl, 3D printed. You can download the files from the video description link if you can print stuff. But Mickey Lee closed the doors because they had to, whatever reason. I know the soap market really is tight. It's a good soap base, but it's not great. It doesn't really compare with many of the good ones out right now. They had some really interesting scents, and so there's definitely no reason, if you found some stuff from them that you really like, then no reason not to get their soap, because it's still, even though there may be the latest and greatest that have better performance, it's not like all of a sudden if Mickey Lee base stopped working well. You know, it's just other stuff got better, right? So I just added a teaspoon. Another teaspoon. Not going to be too analytical tonight. Whenever I get this base kind of close to workable, I'll just use it. I think Mickey Lee might be a soap base that I prefer to use a little drier than I might normally make it. So I am shaving late at night, but we just finished with St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you folks who enjoy that holiday and or have heritage in that genetic pool like I do. Water again on my face. And let's just put this on. It's still kind of a little on the dry side, as you can see by all the textures and the way it's kind of holding itself, but let's just roll with it. This brush does have a ways to go before it gets, you know, really soft. I wouldn't say it's soft right now, even though some of the tips have definitely split. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Not going to be too picky though. Not a strong scent. Old soaps often will lose their scent strength. It's kind of normal. Maybe 3 out of 10 in terms of, maybe even 2 out of 10. It's difficult to pick up, but I can pick up the kind of the coconutty type scent. All right. With the grain now. And I'm not going to worry about buffing too much. We'll let the other passes. Buffing means going over, here's buffing right here. Kind of small strokes, repeating over the same area. And that might be the style that you want to employ. Nothing wrong with that per se. But when I'm kind of moving fast, I would rather go ahead and just plow it all up and then rely on the future passes to get at it. Not going to worry too much about rinsing and leave my face wet so that it can help my lather out. Nice, slick lather. Yeah, beachy type scent. Keeping it a little drier than usual. It's also good for this brush. It's not all that soft quite yet. Helps to dampen the prickle a little bit. and cross grain now. A lot of comfort. A very smooth shave here. I can hear the blade. I can't really feel it. It's doing a really nice job cutting. I mean, I can feel it just a little bit. Lather's definitely more thick and drier than how I use most of my lathers, but that's all right. Quick and dirty shaves sometimes aren't optimal. I got at our Dollar Tree, they have these clips like this. Let's put that on there and see if it holds it. And a little bit of a rinse. Let's see, without even worrying about it, without going through the rigors of, buffing and being all conscientious, that second pass just took out those hairs really well. I haven't ended up with a lot of soap, but it should be enough to do the job. I could have had a little bit more just by adding some more water, so that it wouldn't have been quite so intense and dry, and probably less waste on that first pass. But that's all right. I've got plenty to do the job. And cross grain again on my cheeks is kind of my normal pattern. Got to get some sleep or I am going to be pooped at work tomorrow. But I am keeping my technique tight, keeping my razor loosely held, and watching my paths that I'm taking. Each stroke is kind of carefully thought out ahead of time, and even the angle of the razor, like coming at it this way versus this way, is all part of a habit that I've established over the last couple of years. So then that way I can do it fast because I've got that kind of muscle memory going on. So that was, oh yeah, we've got some hair that needs touch up on my neck. Okay, so we will squeeze out the water there. Doesn't take much lather. And a light touch. Didn't really need to lather up over here. Got cut nicely. And now switch the direction here a little bit. There we go. Yeah, very good. So just kind of 3.5 easygoing passes without having to be too careful or conscientious about, am I getting that hair? Am I getting that hair? It just gets gotten. Well, that blade sure worked really, really well with that razor. So excellent, excellent. Looks like about 2.5 teaspoons of water. Could have definitely used more. Looks like I basically had 4 passes of lather available to me. A little bit more, but we'll say 4. And let's see here. just kind of compare the lather for just a second. It's got a nice soft cushiony feel to it. Slickness is really good. The contact slickness when you're taking your skin and kind of rubbing it together. I do feel my fingerprints, the ridges there, but not a lot. And that's just an excellent soap base. Still very good and enjoyable. And that's an old one too. So that's terrific. That's great. Yeah, didn't really smell too much of it while in use. There may be some shavers out there who, really like Kokomo. And so the hints of scent that you are going to get from it, since it's old, it's kind of lost some of its scent, but there are hints there. So that might be a value to them. So I might find somebody else who might like to enjoy this one. But you know what? I really wouldn't mind shaving it with it. Light, clean, fresh, mellow. I don't have a lot of good beach memories. I have some, but I never liked sitting out in the sun. I was in the water playing and stuff and all that. So suntan lotion was just a byproduct, and I've never really been a big coconut fan. So anyway, it was great to try it out. I could definitely see how I could use this scent to in a meditative, therapeutic kind of way, to kind of let my mind wander, take my mind places, maybe a cruise vacation that we'd done in the past, or something like that. I could see how this would be a part of that experience in a really good way. And it's nice to remember Mickey Lee and all the contributions they made to our shaving community by using this soap. I didn't really find, because it's a little on the older side, I didn't really find a lot of online reference in terms of the different scent notes that were there. So I'm just kind of guessing at what it contained. Definitely a coconut type smell. And then something that did remind me of, maybe all it is coconut. But just kind of an easygoing, almost the absence of a scent that reminds me somehow of the beach or suntan lotion or something like that. But fortunately, there are some, like Shore from Declaration Grooming, that people say reminds them of the beach. But for me, it's more like a little girl's strawberry lip gloss or something like that, and so it doesn't connect that way with me at all. And this is not like that at all. It's kind of a pure scent. Doesn't really seem like it's too complex. So I could see how it would have its a fan base, perhaps people that really enjoy it. Let's see what kind of post shave we have. Let's keep going with something very smooth, like this soap. Lucky Tiger. It is a citrus orange type scent, and it's got cool things like calendula and aloe, chamomile, that sort of thing to be good for your skin. I've shaken it up already, and it's a toner. This doesn't have alcohol, and it's not meant to give you any kind of burn. So it's great for folks with sensitive skin or dry skin that sometimes the alcohol splashes can make worse. But it's also light, and so it definitely fits a certain niche, because sometimes you don't want the heaviness of a balm, but maybe you can't take the aggressive and harshness and drying components of a alcohol splash, and so you're left with the toners. A few other companies make some toners. Who else does? Declaration Grooming, I thought they did. Hey, I also learned something. I was reading online today, and someone that I believe I trust pretty well said that the witch hazel toners, the ones from Thayer's, are less focused on witch hazel. That's kind of what we know. More aloe and some of the other parts to them are really more than the witch hazel, and so I'm glad they call it a witch hazel toner instead of just witch hazel, because it's not. And I've had witch hazel from the drugstore, and it smells bad. And so I know that's just that it's kind of pure witch hazel, and this has a little bit of it. But the Thayer's that I have is alcohol free. And I learned today that the witch hazel extraction process involves alcohol. And so you will get less witch hazel in your toner if you buy the alcohol-free kind. If you buy the alcohol kind, then you'll get more witch hazel, and I think I might be interested in doing that because the oiliness of my skin might be benefited from a little bit of alcohol right before the witch hazel, or during the witch hazel application. So I'll use up my Thayer's non-alcoholic witch hazel, and maybe bring in the alcoholic kind and see. And I've always gone the unscented route. I definitely don't plan on getting something like rose or cucumber or anything like that. But I might check out their scented ones, because I think it's lightly scented, so I don't think it's going to get in the way of anything. Who knows? We'll see. Not too expensive. All right, so I learned something a little bit about witch hazel today. If you want a stronger, more witch hazel in the formula, a higher concentration of witch hazel, then avoid the alcohol-free kind. All right, I'm going to clean up my gear. Be back. Well, that was a super smooth shave. Really happy about that one. The blade worked really well, and the soap, nice slickness, great experience. And I'm glad I ran it kind of drier because of the brush. This brush does have a ways to go before it gets soft, but I'm looking forward to watching it grow. I like the backbone. It's pretty easily splayable, but it's not floppy by any means. And we're just waiting for those tips to split and get softer. And I think it'll be a neat brush. I like the density that's in it, and so looking forward to it. I could easily see that brush becoming a favorite knot, and then me transplanting it perhaps into a nicer handle that befits the really nice combination of density with backbone and nice soft tips that is probably awaiting me in the future as we get more uses on this guy. Well, there we go. I don't think you're going to see too many Kokomo shaves out there on YouTube, so I'm glad to bring one of them here to you. I wish I was better at describing the scent. I wish there was kind of some more information for me that I could bring to you about the scent, relaying it from somebody else's nose, but such is life. If I find some more, then maybe I'll use it again and tell you. But there we go. Mickey Lee, good company. I'm glad they were around as long as they were, and we got Kraken was a good one from them. Man, they had several that I do enjoy. So hey, you have a good night. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You take care.